everyone, welcome to the Seeds of Success podcast, hosted by Dottie San Martin and myself, Orla Rivera. This show is your weekly dose of knowledge, insights, and actionable tips to transform centers into striking successes. Whether you're a seasoned industry professional or just stepping onto the lanes, we've got you covered. I'm excited, Dottie, because I feel the last few weeks we've had a special guest on, and we're not going to stop now. We have someone else on today, a face I recognize because he comes on my Tech Tip podcast a lot. So I'm going to let you introduce him because I'm sure you'll give him some grand entrance, and I know he's just going to love that.
Well, thank you for that, Orly. I too am excited. We have our special guest today is David J., who I've known for quite some time and has just a vast amount of experience in this industry. He is one of our Max training specialists, and he also does a lot with development for the team. David, I apologize. I know you have this beautiful title that I have just botched, but nonetheless, welcome to Seeds of Success.
And no apology needed. Thank you for inviting me. I'm really excited to be here with you guys.
Well, great. Well, the reason we ask you on the show is you and I had been on a call recently about Neoverse. We were working with a customer that had just gotten Neoverse, and as we do a lot, we started brainstorming things. Orly and I do this all the time, really with anybody that we can capture to listen to us for 2 seconds. So that particular day, you and I were talking about Neoverse, and which is a product that we are both very, very passionate about, as is Orly. So we talk about this a lot because, our customers today are they're changing, and we've had previous episodes recently that we've talked about that and how important it is for you to be in tune with what's important to your customers. And we have learned that our customers really want to be a part of the story. They want to be part of the experience. They want to feel like they are part of what's going on, right? And with the technology these days, we are able in this industry to really allow our customers to be part of that story, to be part of that experience. And so I wanted to bring you on today and kind of go through what we did the other day with you and I pinging off of one another. And it's like, oh my gosh, we could do this and we could do that. And this is amazing. And what if we did? And on and on and on. Because we have many customers now throughout that have the Neoverse LED wall. And we are starting to see some amazing things happen with the Neoverse wall. And it excites me to know that people are thinking outside the box.
Absolutely. And it's, I have trained over 30 centers in the U.S. and military with Neoverse. And each time it's a little different experience. And each time there's always something new or exciting or a question comes up. Could we do this or could we do this? And it's not anymore just tell us what we should do. The exciting thing is now that they've seen what we already know about and our best practices and some of the things that we see in the field, we see more of them every single day and more ideas, and just not to get people, as we talked yesterday, not just to get people to bowl more, just to get people into the center.
Yes.
And it's super cool.
That's exactly right. We used to be limited by the number of lanes that we had and how many people we could put on a lane. And that was our capacity, right? That was it.
Yep.
That is no longer our limitation. I mean, yes, we've been creative back in the day where you create different little rooms that you have and you create, pool tournaments and video games and all that. But now you are able to draw in that customer that once wouldn't have come because all they would do is sit there and watch people bowl, right? Now they can be entertained just like the bowler.
Yeah, and I'm noticing what David said is, I've bought a product before from a certain company or something, and they tell you, it can do this, this, and this. And then when I show people, I'm like, yeah, it can do this, this, and this. But when I'm working with a customer now, I'm noticing that more, almost like Dottie and myself, and with you, David, how we are, our gears start turning, and we're here seeing all these ideas, and that's how customers are with Neoverse. I've heard a lot of people say, like, I'm wondering if I could set up something like this, or I'm thinking, if there's a way to set this up. They're not even sticking to some basics. They're like ready to explore and do all these different things with it, and it's really cool to see that they're getting, they're very interested in doing that.
Well, it really is endless, right? It has finally given us the freedom to be creative, right? And, there's just been so many amazing things. And I have to share with you, and I'm not going to give too much information, but I will share with you that, there's a lot of eyes on the Neoverse wall, and the Neoverse wall has been used to entertain all sorts of people. But I will say that the Vice President of the United States got a sneak peek at the Neoverse wall recently, with the beautiful American flag, and was impressed. So, folks, you never know who's going to walk through your door and who you're going to get to entertain and have an experience with. So, so David, let's talk about, the Neoverse wall and how versatile it is and how many different things. And, let's just get started. Nothing is off limits here. So, I already spilled the beans about VIP getting to see it. So, anything's a free game here.
One of the great things about Neoverse, like you said, is the versatility and the number of possibilities there are. Just from the basics, where we have supplied content that is entertaining on its own.
Mm-hmm.
So Neoverse comes with, and I haven't counted recently because we're adding content all the time, but let's just say there's upwards of 60 pieces of content, from static images to full 4K motion. I'm going to call them movies, because they're absolutely beautiful. We've now expanded into allowing the customer to create their own content and add that to their playlist of things. So we're able to customize what you want on your wall to a certain extent. But then being able to customize per pair of lanes, as opposed to everybody gets the same look, the same feel, the same experience. We can customize by pair or by half the center or whatever you might want to do. I think probably the two things that people use the most and get the most excited about. One is the ability to use the wall as a television screen, for lack of a better word, to be able to show other entertainment things on the Neoverse wall. And you get to create that on your own. So whatever platform you want to show, whether it's you're using music videos on a special night, or you're showing NFL games, you've got 16 different different screens up there and 8 different NFL games to make it look like a sports bar. Great. I think probably the thing that I get most excited about is when people use what we call custom pictures, and use the custom pictures either for pictures or maybe logos or a special advertising or whatever you can dream of to put up on the wall. Custom pictures, I think, has so many different uses.
Absolutely.
Those are things that just the creativity just completely amazes me with every new center.
And, it's really important, especially to our younger audience, to feel that it's personalized. And definitely Neoverse gives you that ability with the pictures and the logos and so on and so forth. But here we go with the brainstorming now, because as you were talking about, the different, the music videos and the movies and things along those lines, we have had a number of customers that have done some things like this. So I know, like the one customer had a Dolly night, right? And again, they themed it all out. They did the Dolly Parton videos and, the Dolly Parton documentaries and all that can be going on the wall. And, some centers take it as far as, I don't know if they had a costume contest, but that could have been quite entertaining itself if they did.
Yeah.
But, being able to do that. I also wanted to mention, I heard something, you'd be surprised where you pick up little things and you get tuned into them. But I heard on the TV the other day about certain local libraries that offer the ability to stream movies through your local library. Okay. I have not checked into it yet, but of course, where does my mind immediately go? Neoverse. I am going to get with my local library and find out. We have another customer that is doing a movie night. I don't have all the details on that, but he is generating an opportunity for a very small town to have a little local movie night. I don't believe he's charging, but he is making it up in food and beverage and the repeat business of things that people see as they're there, right?
Absolutely. And he shared some videos and pictures with me, and it's, he's got a crowd there, and he has a different movie. I believe he's doing it on Monday nights, and it's working out great for him. And again, something that, thinking outside the box, and, he brought that to us and said, I really want to do this. How can I accomplish this? And not knowing, how he could actually legally do something like that. But operationally, this is how to do it. And we even went one step further to where if he wanted to potentially take reservations for that,
yes,
how he could use Conquer and the other Cubica products to make that happen. So again, the customer thinking outside of the box really brings things to us.
Absolutely. And David, it's amazing because we do have that inspiration going on right now. I'm working with one customer that was very interested in, I tossed out that now you have this beautiful LED wall that people are going to be knocking at your door saying, I want to advertise on that. Mm-hmm. So you know what? Let's let them help us pay for that wall, right? Let's have an advertising program where we can put custom advertising out during certain time periods. Let's put it on a subscription basis where they can get 6 months or a year subscription and they can advertise on our beautiful, LED wall. So it's amazing. I know I'm probably just as guilty as everybody else. I can't wait. I'm working on different programs to help customers with the wall. We're working on gender reveal parties, right? Mm-hmm. Can you imagine having a gender reveal and utilizing the wall, leveraging the wall? We do a lot with military, and to be able to help bring, the people back home to the military through our wall is another endeavor that we've ventured out on. We're trying to get all of the logistics in place for that. But it's absolutely amazing what capability you have now of entertaining. And then when you marry that with the scoring system and the different ways that you can bowl and what's happening on the wall while you're bowling, you're not only engaging, highly engaging now the bowlers, but then the people that are coming to watch as well. So, you're, I know it sounds kind of cliche, but, we're captivating them with this.
Absolutely. And you mentioned entertaining or even possibly educating the people that aren't actually there bowling. Take, for example, our integration with hyperbowling and the Neoverse wall, where the hyperbowling scoring actually is integrated with the wall now. So, you walk through an arcade and you see bright lights and scores and bells and all of those things happening while people are playing those video games, and that draws you in. Well, imagine walking through a bowling center and seeing the beauty of the wall and whatever whatever content may be there, or multiple contents, and then watching someone play hyper bowling, which the video game like bowling game on the lanes, and the score pops up on the Neoverse wall, and it's like, oh my God, why is that score different than the people over here bowling traditionally and their score? So the possibilities are endless, but also the value outside of just pure bowling.
Yeah.
You can't put a number on that.
Yeah, and that just kind of makes it that much more sweeter, It's almost like if you think about it, like, you have an iPhone and then you get your Apple Watch and then you're like, oh, wow, this goes, like when it first came out, it was like, this goes together. I could see who's calling me on my watch. And then you're like, oh, and it hooks up to my computer too. It's like when it all kind of starts to integrate, it's like a really cool thing.
Yeah.
That's a great point. And I know that a lot of our listeners have heard of our partnership with Square and our Square POS and stuff. The one thing that our company prides itself in is we do have a wonderful ecosystem. We want our customers to be able to have the luxury of making sure that everything works in conjunction. Everything has the ability to work together to create this experience without having to start all over and buy all of, everything from scratch. You're able to simply continue to evolve the experience that you're able to deliver, because Cubica AMF has been very mindful from the beginning of creating an ecosystem for the customer so that you have everything. You don't have to figure out how to make it work. It was designed to make it work, right? Yeah. And so that's one of the benefits of being able to be with a very innovative company that sees way out in the future and is building to help support that evolving experience. The nice thing about it is bowling centers now can change that experience in an instant. And that's what keeps people coming back. That's what keeps that customer engaged, is they want to see what's next. What's next? They're always doing something there, right?
Yeah. And you say, the bowling center can keep things fresh and change and everything like that. But the centers also are giving the guests the ability to create their own experience.
Yes.
And as you said, I think one of my favorite things about working for Cubic AMF and working as a trainer and being in the field and working with our customers is that we can provide so many different things for the customer as they grow through the ecosystem, and being able to provide that as a trainer and open doors is really exciting from this side of the wall.
Yes.
But not just limiting our customer, the center, to provide the experience, but allowing the center to provide options that the guest actually gets to choose from.
Yeah. And David, you said something really interesting, and I want to reinforce, we as the three of us that are in today's podcast are a part of the Cubica AMF strategic services team. Our job is to make sure that customers are able to bring their products to life and to work with them and to entertain their guests with our products, right? And the amount of support that we are able to give to the customer, to me, we have the best jobs under the sun, because we're able to show them how to make more money and entertain the guests. How much better does it get, right? I mean, we got pretty good jobs, right? We might complain every now and then, but we get the luxury of being able to do that for customers. And so that is just as much a part of the ecosystem as it is the kiosk and web reservations and hyper bowling, working with the Neoverse wall. We also add that into our mix that we don't just stop with the sale. We continue. Our goal, our entire role as a strategic services team is to make sure that you're successful. And we go to great lengths to make that happen, even recording podcasts like brainstorming to make sure that you have the energy and the passion and the excitement and the willingness to try something new. Don't be afraid. You're not going to mess anything up that David J. can't fix.
Right? I can't believe you said that, because I can't tell you how many times I've said to customers, there's nothing in here that you can do that I can't come back and I make right again.
Absolutely.
Now there are some technical things that I'm going to pass on to somebody else.
That's
probably
also part of our team.
That's right. Give it a shot. Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
And you may stumble onto something that is even better than what you thought you were gonna try to accomplish.
Yes, for sure. And you know what? We rarely ask people for comments, but we really would love to hear your comments of our listeners. What have you tried? What have you gone out and done that it doesn't even have to be with Neoverse? Today was a brainstorming session on Neoverse, but what have you done? What have you changed? What experience have you offered your customer that you're proud of, that your customers come back and said, wow, that was really cool? We'd love to hear that. We don't want our listeners to be afraid to leave us comments, right, Orly?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, leave comments. We'll get back to them. We'll answer them on a show or we'll reach out to you. So,
absolutely. Well, Orly, I think this has been exactly what I had hoped for. I mean, I could brainstorm all day long, but we definitely want to be mindful of our listeners and of David. And your time. So David, thank you very much for carving out time today to brainstorm with us. I'm sure that we'll be hitting you up again for another brainstorming session down the road. So don't be surprised.
I won't be surprised, and I look forward to it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being a part of today's episode of Seeds of Success. With decades of industry experience, we are honored to share ideas, strategies, and trends designed to help entertainment centers like yours thrive and grow. Together, we're planting the seeds for a stronger, more successful future. Share this podcast with your team and industry friends, because the more seeds we sow, the greater the harvest. Until next time, let's continue to build success, one happy guest and one incredible experience at a time.